starting some of my assembly. Okay, so I took the other transmission apart, which came out of a Buick. It's not an HD, and it's not the same gear ratio. So the planetary gears will not interchange with these. So I'm going to reassemble this one and use the original one back in the transmission. This is kind of a tedious process here to get these needle bearings back in the gears, and that's why we're going to use some of this assembly goo by Lube Guard. Used to be called Dr. Tranny, but being they're from Seattle, I don't blame them for changing the packaging. So we're going to put some of this around in here, and then put these needle bearings in there, and that should hold them in place. Otherwise they end up falling all over the place. So this has 2 rows of needle bearings with a washer separating the 2 rows. Oh, I'm glad I'm doing this part in the basement. We just got 11 inches of snow over the weekend. It should be fun installing this back in the car. I'll have to clean all the snow out from everywhere. You'll know when you have them all in there and you can't fit another one in there. I can't fit any more in there, so we have all the ones on that side. Now we go ahead and move to this side. I'm going to go ahead and make sure they're all seated good. There we go. They don't sell the planets separately that I know of. The GM catalog shows only this part here as a full part. It doesn't, they don't break it down anymore. They show the breakdown, but they don't sell the individual parts. I went to the dealer to get a part number for it, but their computer went to the vintage auto parts section, so I guess my car is now vintage. It's a 2006. Oh, I'm having fun with this side. I think they want to go all over the place for some reason. So there's two spacer washers on each side. That gives you the spacing you need so that they don't move around. There's one. Well, it might be easier to stick the pin through, and that keeps them from sliding over to the other side. And once you get them all in, you can pull the pin out. See, that lines up a little easier. Okay, all the gaps are filled. You got them all in on both sides. Oh, one more on this side. Should look full like that. Okay, these half moon shaped pins at the top here go out, and then this lock ring goes on there to hold those pins in. Okay, that's all back together. Now we'll set the differential aside. Okay, this says on the passenger side, the differential cover. We're going to knock that seal out. I just have a screwdriver in there. Just beat it a little bit. I had to take it over to the vise and collapse it because it wasn't, the screwdriver was just going through it. So I collapsed it and then it just popped out. Okay, this is out of my ball joint kit. It's a nice ring that fits on there. And then I'm going to stick it in the vise and just push it in. Okay, with the seal pressed in there, I've also selected the new seal for this. This is just a square seal, it doesn't matter which way it goes on. Okay, differential case is ready. Okay, now we're going to address the output ring gear part here. I don't know if you can see it on the camera there, but there's a lot of grooves there. And the bushing in here is very gouged up. It's, I don't know if you can see that, but these parts are the same as from a regular transmission, and this shaft is nice, smooth, and the bushing in here is good. So I'm going to use those and scrap these parts. Okay, this piece I pulled out all together in one piece, but now we're going to disassemble it. So some of this stuff comes apart easy, some of it doesn't. These Teflon seals are getting replaced. I think we can go ahead and cut those. Could spin them off, but all right, not fighting. Thrust bearing inside there. You got spacers and washers. Screwdriver behind this. Another snap ring. figure out how to get this out. Doesn't look like my pliers are going to spread that far enough. That's part of my problem here. Maybe if I get it. There we go. So I clamped the spring thing there. And I used the hole Okay, so first we're going to take this thrust bearing out of here. See if I can get that out of there. Here we go. Pop that out of the way. And then we're going to pop this clip off. There we go. There we go, the piston's out. We're going to replace that. We have a new one for that. Okay, I put some different tips on this pair, and now I'm hoping that this will just pop out of there like it's supposed to. Well, that's better. So what I did is I ground little notches in my tip there so that the end of that clip would fit in there, and that worked pretty good. Okay, let's see if we can get this out now. There we go. Okay, I have a new seal for that. So that goes in with the lip down. Okay, that looks good. Have to clean that up a little bit. Got some metal filings in there still too. Next we got this piston. So now that we got these pliers that might work a little bit better, I'll try them on here too. Can't get in close enough. These don't spread far enough. Guess you just pop it out of there with a screwdriver. Easy enough. Okay. Springs look good. Okay. Oil in there. This one goes with the lip down. Let's find that one. Okay, there we have that one. Grease that up a little bit. Tricky part about this one is making sure that it didn't roll over on you, which it did. So I'm going to take this little tool here and pull that back out so that it rolls back in. That went in there real nicely. Helps to have a little grease on there. Okay. That's good. And then we have this one with the lip up or down or whatever you want to say. The lip is going this way. That's why I'm putting these on right away, so I don't have to go by memory. Haha. Okay. Now I just have to figure out where that's supposed to go. I'll have to figure that out. Looking at the other one that I pull apart, pretty easy to see where that's supposed to be, and I guess that still moves a bit. So that's where I'm going to put it. Okay, we got one. Can put this one together. I think it should be easy enough, probably with my fingers pushing it down. There we go. That one's together. We got one more. Looks like it had quite a gap in there. Okay. I'm going to try this with a hammer and a screwdriver. Looks like it just popped out. That'll work for me. need a Presto to press that back in there. A lot of pressure on that one. Let's see. There it is. And the new one. Putting some glue on there. I found that even pressure all the way around, very slowly, just work it down, and then that piston will go down in there. So now we put this fun piece in there. And our I'm going to try just pushing that down in there. Oh, that's got a ways to go. That's not going to be easy. And that's too small. Try something different. I don't know that I can get past that with those clutches in there. clutches out. There, now we can actually get in there. Okay, I made a little piece of wood that'll work with my threaded rod. Make sure that's centered. Almost there. Okay, it's in. Okay, before I put these clutch plates back in, I'm going to soak them in transmission fluid. Okay, so putting these all in together, first we have the cushion plate. It's got a wavy look to it, looks a little odd. Then there's the apply plate. First clutch. And then there's an oversized steel clutch, steel clutch, steel clutch, steel clutch, steel. And I measured the difference with the old steels and the new steels, about 10 thousandths wear on these, so that's where I'm going with the new ones in here. And we got some extras there. Now we're going to look and see where that lands and see how much play we have. That's still quite a bit. Okay, it was a little bit of trial and error to see what the right combination was. I did put the thicker one in to begin with, but that's with the thinner steels that was originally in there. So with the new steels in there, that thick one was too much and it was too tight. So I do have a little bit of a gap there, as you can see. And then I've also lined all these up using this gear to get those all lined up to begin with, and it's not so hard to get them in there once you start putting it together. Next we're going to put this piston in there. I'll lube it up. Hang on just a minute. Yes, I did put the seal in there. Just wanted to make sure. I should put some lube on there too. I know that's not in there all the way because it's touching here and there's a gap here, so it's got to go down some more over here. Well, you don't need to see me struggling with this forever, so I'm just going to keep working at it a bit until I get it in there. Okay, I got the piston in there. I greased it up good and just kept going around until I got it evenly in there. So next we're going to put the spring support in there and the C-clip, or whatever kind of clip you call this. Okay, as you can see, I got my little threaded rod through the bench and pushed it down, and the clip went into place, no problem. Next comes the seal. Okay, I have the first piston in there. I have the seal in there. The clip is in there. Check to make sure the seal has the open side all the way down. And then I have a new piston to put in here. Well, that one went in there easier. We have our spring, and I'm just going to put this on the press, my threaded rod assembly. Okay, I used my little press to hold these springs down while I got this clip on. So I gotta make sure that clip went in all the way. Okay, next goes this snap-in bearing. Okay, here we go. Starting with the wavy plate. And if you line these up correctly, they should be about halfway between so that you can fit these tabs in there. It should go all the way down. Next, I'm taking Tom from Curmudgeon Transmission Advice, and I've sanded off with a 1/4 sheet sander, just an orbital sander with some 120. Sanded the clutch off of that one, and that gives me a little bit thicker plate here to take up some of the slack. So that one I'm putting in next. And I've soaked all my clutches, and I'm going to start installing those. Okay, took a lot of beating, and I kind of bent the head on it a little bit, but I got it out. It is knurled, so you can't twist it out. You have to pull it out. And this just drops down. Okay, I'm looking at the end of that, and it looks nice and clean. It's not ready to pop off. If that ends up popping off the end of that, you won't get it out of park. That's it. You're done. Okay. Remove that seal. And put a new one in. This is the first part that goes in to the case. I put some lube on the seal. I want to put some on the shaft too. Okay, that's not going anywhere. I know how hard it is to get out. So, that's in. Okay, next we have our output ring gear. We're going to put in the case. And there's only one way it can go in. If you see the big... Let me get a pointer on there. There's only one way this can go in, and if you see the big solid piece there, that lines up right here with this solid opening. And the way you're going to put this in is you're going to grab a hold of it here like this, and you're going to hold that down, and then put that up where it goes, and then slide it straight in. And that's what it should look like as far as spacing goes here. And you should be able to get your lock ring on the other side. Okay, next we're going to put this, it's a brand new one. I don't want to reuse the forward. It's a Ray Bestis forward. And you line up the hole. The pin sticking into the case. Okay, I'm going to stick this forward band in. Ray Bestis, brand new. Line up that hole there with the pin in the back. Once you get it in the hole, it should not be able to slide out unless you lift it up. There it is. Next, I'm going to stick the 2-to-1 or coast band in. This has the smaller hole here and goes on the smaller pin. And then we're going to put the forward 1-2 and coast 2-1 drums in, and it should squeak like that, and it should not be able to turn the other way. Okay, when that's in there all the way, that shaft should come out almost maybe a 1/4 inch from that gear. Then you'll know it's in all the way. And both bands are working on there. They're working good. Okay. Okay, next we're going to put this planetary gear set together. This is a little plastic part. Doesn't matter which way it goes in. It goes in like that. This one has a lip. You can't put it in this way. It won't go down. You have to put it in with the lip up. And then it fits in there flat like that. And then you spin this on there. And then we have another thrust bearing, and this one has, if you can see it, little tabs sticking up. Those go up so the flat surface goes down. And then this is going to get put in the back here. And I've already put that other shaft gears in there, but I'll push that in once I get these planets aligned. Just wiggle it around and turn it. And that's in there. Okay, next we're gonna put this gear in there with the sprags, and I try to line up these with the slots in here. There's, I don't know if you can see that. You can see the slot there. I line that up with the slot on there. Like that. And then the other one goes on with the deeper in there. Might be easier if I show you this way. It lines up like that. And then we put it in the planetary gears. And get them all lined up. Come on. There we go. And then the shell. Okay, next we're going to work on this, get this ready. We already put the new piston ring in there, and then we have this second clutch. We've got all kinds of notes. We got different sizes here, so you got to make sure that you're putting the right size back in. There's one out. And they have little tabs that go on the notches, those go down. The one goes up, the other one goes down. These you don't need an expander because they're split. Of course I put it in backwards. Put this one in on the top then. Okay, that one's in there. And the bottom one goes in with the tabs up. And this big washer with the tabs, the big one here, it's got a coating on it. Some of it's worn off on this one, but I'm going to reuse it. Goes there. Okay, now we have this ready to go on the other part. I've already removed these. Let me find the new ones. I'm using this expander made by Kent Moore. This is a J34741. This is the 1A, and then there's a pusher, and then there's a sizer. So this gets put on there, and you can adjust this so that it lines up with where the seal, see how that adjusts? So you put that where the seal has to go in. Kind of hard to get it all in there, but anyway, I put the seal on the top there, and then I'm going to use this pusher, and that puts it right in there where you need it. You adjust this. For the next spot. Alright, where did I put the other seals? Okay, I found my other Teflon. They'd fallen on the floor. Next we're going to use our resizer. So we pushed it on, and now we're going to pull it back off. Easier said than done. And then we're going to take this and let the support size those overnight. And that's all for now. Okay, with those resized, should be able to get that back together. Take that off. Then we have I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on there. And that washer goes on there. And then this thrust bearing goes next with the larger diameter down on there. Okay, next we're going to put this inside. Alright. We're starting that one over. Now I had all these clutches lined up to make it easier to put these in. I suppose it would probably be easier if I had this sitting upright. sometimes it just doesn't want to go in there. There we go again.